The last recording of Jonestown. What they captured still haunts the world. This is not a story. This really happened. This is Dark Truth Archives. If you love stories like this, follow me for more. Deep in the jungles of Guyana, far away from the rest of the world, there was a settlement known as Jonestown. To those on the outside, it looked like a place of hope, a community built on equality, unity, and the promise of a better life. But inside, it was something far more disturbing. The man behind it all was Jim Jones, a preacher who convinced hundreds of people that he could lead them to a new world free from suffering. He spoke with confidence, with conviction, and people believed him. They left behind their homes, their families, and everything they knew to follow him into the jungle. What they didn't realize was that once they arrived, leaving would not be easy. Jonestown was isolated, surrounded by dense forest, with armed guards watching over the community. Communication with the outside world was controlled, and over time, the people there became completely dependent on Jones. He held meetings late into the night, speaking for hours through loudspeakers, slowly shaping how they thought, what they believed, and how they saw the world. Then came what he called loyalty tests. On certain nights, everyone would be gathered and given a drink. Jones would tell them it was poison and that they needed to be willing to die for the cause. Each time, they obeyed. Each time, they waited. And each time, they were told it had only been a test. But with every test, the line between choice and control began to disappear. On November 18, 1978, a U.S. Congressman, Leo Ryan, arrived in Jonestown after hearing reports that people were being held there against their will. At first, everything seemed calm. The residents smiled, sang, and acted as though everything was normal. But beneath that surface, fear was growing. That night, someone managed to pass Ryan a note. It was simple but urgent, a plea for help from someone desperate to escape. The next day, Ryan agreed to take a small group of defectors with him as he prepared to leave. But Jonestown was not a place people simply walked away from. At a nearby airstrip, as Ryan and the others waited to depart, armed men arrived. Without warning, they opened fire. Ryan was killed, along with several others. In that moment, any chance of quiet resolution disappeared. Back in Jonestown, Jim Jones gathered everyone together. Hundreds of people, men, women, and children, stood before him as he spoke calmly, almost reassuringly. What happened next was recorded on what is now known as the Jonestown Death Tape. He told them this was not suicide, but a final act of protest, something he called revolutionary suicide. Then the drink was brought out, a mixture laced with poison. Parents were instructed to give it to their children first, and many did, believing there was no other choice. The recording captures what followed: voices rising in panic, children crying, confusion spreading through the crowd. Some people refused, some tried to run, but there were armed guards present, and witnesses later reported that not everyone died willingly. Some were forced, restrained, or injected. Through it all, Jones continued speaking, his voice steady as chaos unfolded around him. By the time it was over, more than 900 people were dead, including over 300 children. Jim Jones himself did not drink the poison. He was later found with a gunshot wound. What remains today is the recording, real, unedited, and deeply disturbing. It captures the final moments of hundreds of people, not as a distant historical event, but as something immediate, something human, something terrifyingly real. Because this was not just a tragedy, it was a demonstration of how belief, when placed in the wrong hands, can be turned into control, and how control, when taken too far, can end in something far darker than anyone could have imagined. This is not a story. This really happened. This is Dark Truth Archives.